It's our second load of stone of the morning. We're putting stone on a road. I'm going up here to get the dozer. Here's the base station that goes with their GPS. Got it hooked to a battery. This is what's going to make the dozer put this gravel on grades. But we've got our road trimmed out. Can't see up the hill because of the sun, but got it smooth drum rolled. And the Three Stooges are over there having a conversation this morning. We got the GPS set back up on the D3. We have to share the GPS between this D3 and the 850J. We don't have a GPS for both of them at this time. So we move all the equipment off the D3 and put it on the 850J, and then when we have to do smaller work, we move it back to the D3. So we're gonna get this machine fired up and warmed up, start putting this stone down. The nice thing about using the GPS is I got the road trimmed out to the correct grade with it, and now when I put this stone down, I'll be able to set the stone exactly the depth that I want it with the GPS, because it knows, it knows the grade that I have the road on. So it will, now that if I raise the offset, see, I had to offset this road. Finished grade is 0, but of course the gravel has to be a certain depth. So what you do is you put in an offset of like a negative. This gravel's 8 inches, so 8 inches is 0.66 of a foot, 66 hundredths of a foot. So what you do is you put in an offset of a negative 0.66 and cut the dirt down, so when you put the gravel back, it brings the, we call that part, that the undercut, the subgrade. So when you put the gravel back on top of it up to finished grade, well, actually the gravel's not the finished grade either. The gravel is another subgrade for the asphalt. The asphalt's 3 inches deep. So we actually have an undercut of 11 inches, which was worked out to be a 0.912, no, 916, I'm sorry, 0.916, which is basically a 0.92 as you round it up. So that's what the subgrade is. It's negative 0.92, and now we're putting a 0.66 of gravel on. And in construction, if you don't know, we use tenths of a foot, not inches. But then once the gravel's down, they're going to put 3 inches of pavement on top of it. So this GPS really makes it nice to get the right amount of stone. You won't waste as much stone because you won't have thin spots or deep spots. It'll all be consistent, and the road's consistent. And I wish you could see up this road, but the sun is just so bright this morning. We got to, there's slopes on either side. I've got the lower slopes done and the ponds done, topsoil on them, seeded. And the upper side we don't have done yet. I still got to put topsoil on it and track it in, and then they're going to seed it. I'm going to be working on that between putting stone down and whatever else I got to do today. So, all right, well, let's get this dozer going and wake him up this morning. All right, so I was just figuring my grades up. I was trying to get, we decided we're going to put this gravel down, and the first lift's going to be 6 inches deep. The next lift will be 2 inches deep to make 8 inches of gravel, which is what we're after. So I was just calculating what the offset I need to put in the GPS was. And right now I'm trying to get into the road. Got to get through the ditch here. Gonna be a little bit of a bump here. Try not to tear the road up as much as possible. Have got on the stone, and I've got my GPS set at a negative 0.48, which is subgrade, and then you add back the 6 inches, which makes 0.48. The subgrade is actually a negative 0.92, but when I checked it with the rover, you always go by the rover, not what the dozer says. The rover said I was still cutting at about a negative 0.88. So what I did was I lowered the dozer on down another tenth. So I was at, well, not quite a tenth. I was at a negative 0.98 with my subgrade, which made the rover read that I was at the correct depth. The rover is the handheld GPS unit, and it is the authority. You go by it. So now that I've added back my stone depth, which is 6 inches for now, and then eventually it'll be 8 inches, but right now it's 6 inches. So now I have a negative 0.48, and that's what we're going with to start with. Then when we get all this stone down, we'll back up and we'll put the top layer of stone on, and we're doing this for compaction purposes. So if we put the whole 8 inches down, it may not be compacted as good as we'd like. So what we're doing is we're putting it down a little bit thinner, and then we'll come back and put the top layer on. So we've started our first layer of stone. When we get up the road far enough, we got enough room, I'll get the roller down here on it. We'll start compacting it. And yeah, that's basically the day. We're going to just run up this road with gravel. And my dad, he's up there in the 138 Komatsu digging out a soft spot there. Because there must be a little bit of a spring or something right there, because that was in a cut area, but there's a soft spot there, and he's trying to fix it. But, all right, we'll see y'all back in a little bit. back off the edge of the gravel. This road's so narrow, if I have them just dump it in a pile, it'll spill over the edge of the road. So what I'm having to do is back up too far and then start dumping some of the gravel and then pull up to spread the gravel out some. Keep it from spilling over the edges of the road. Raise it on up some more. All right, stop right there and dump the rest. More gravel. All right, let's go up here and see how Dad's getting along with his soft spot. Looks like there may be some topsoil down in there. Right there's your problem, ain't it? How you reckon that got in there? This was all cut, wasn't it?
Well, this is where the cut in the field meets at. A lot of times, we're filling it, you can kind of see the whole ground right there. So
missed a little bit or something, didn't we? He said that this is where the cut in the field met at, and missed a little bit of topsoil right here. I guess that's what happened. It appears that's what happened anyway. It looks like it was all cut in here to me, but he's probably right. He normally is. All right, I got another truck here. Gotta get back on the dozer. This is what happens when you park a bulldozer caddy corner in a ditch. You can stand under the track. All right, so this is kind of difficult to do because, you know, when they dump out a pile of gravel, it's just a pile and it leaves spots like this right here, and it's hard to get it all filled back in. And then if you try to dump it all in one single pile, it'll spill over the edges, and then you got a problem. So what I'm having to do is start dumping and then pull forward to keep that from happening. And they can't really spread because we don't want them driving on the subgrade. So you end up with spots like this where up against the edges there's not enough gravel, and like right in here it's still too low. The middle's good, but what I want to do is I'm going to get on the skid steer and I'm going to get a little bit of this gravel, and I'm going to bring it back here, and I'm going to just spread it along the edges and see, well, right here I got too much on the edge, so I'll take the skid steer and I'll scoop that up and put it in the place that I don't have enough. So that's what I'm going to do now. Somebody has taken the bucket that goes on this skid steer. I think they said it had a hole wore in the bottom of it or something, or it was getting worn on the bottom, and they brought a bucket off another skid steer and they put it on this John Deere skid steer. And this one don't belong to us, but we have one exactly like it. And they put a bucket off of a Komatsu skid steer on it, and it's shorter and it doesn't fit this skid steer right. You can't hardly do anything with it, but you can't even see the cutting edge when you're sitting in the seat. Well, anyway, I'm going to do what I can with it. he's going to get a little roll of fabric there with the Yanmar excavator, and he's going to bring it over here. We got to put fabric in the bottom of this hole that he dug the soft spot out of. Maybe someday I'll do a review on our 333E. This one's not ours. This one belongs to my dad's partner, but we've got one just like it. Anyway, he dug his soft spot out here. We're going to put some fabric in it. And then we're going to compact crusher run back on top of it. Should take care of this problem. It's had a little topsoil still in the bottom of it, and I guess that would be my fault because I'm the one that peeled the topsoil off of this job, and well, 95% of it anyway. And I guess it just didn't get it all out right here. This was kind of a swag. I remember now there was like a swag right in here, and the topsoil was deeper, and I was trying to get it all out, but I guess I mean, it wasn't a whole lot right here. That it was probably a backhoe bucket full or a skid steer bucket full in here, and that was all it took to make it soft. And this is the only spot we've had trouble with. We're getting ready to fix it. Dad's putting in a layer of gravel in our soft spot. We've got our fabric in. We're going to put in about 6 inches or so, and then we're going to roll it. There's supposed to be a geotech guy here to check compaction, but he was supposed to be here at 8 o'clock, but he's not here, and they called and said it was going to be 10 o'clock. It's 9:45 now, and hopefully he'll get here soon, but we're just documenting what we're doing with pictures and stuff, and we don't let much slow us down. We're too big a hurry. We're doing it like they ask us to. right, so we rolled the first lift in, and now he's putting the second lift in, and we're just going to continue doing that until we get all the way back up to grade. And so basically it's just the same process over and over. 6 inches of gravel rolling, 6 inches of gravel roll, and until we get all the way back up to where we were. It's going to take about 3 loads of gravel in this hole, but it's got to be done. And then we'll get back on the dozer and keep on going up the road. All right, so let's take a look at what the GPS is telling me here. Excuse me. This road has got crown on it, and if you don't know what I mean by crown, the middle of the road is higher than the outsides of the road, and that causes the water to shed to the left and to the right into the ditches. And if you look right here, I'm sitting kind of over to the right. This is the center of the road. I'm kind of sitting over to the right of the road. I know you can't see this real good, but the blue line right here is the edge of the road. This is the middle of the road, and this is the edge of the road over here. Let me back it out one notch. Okay, maybe you can see this better now. You see my blade is way wider than one side of the road. That is actual width of my blade compared to the road. It's all set up in the computer to be actual dimensions. Now, you see this green line, this is called a contour line, and these lines are going across the road to tell me what the grade should be at that very spot on the road at that point. Now, the way that it is tapered there, that is showing me that the road is crowned. So this is the high point, and then it tapers off to either side. This line is a certain grade, and it doesn't matter where this line goes, it stays that grade. It's changing the ground, if that makes any sense. If you've ever looked at grading plans, you know what I mean. If they're kind of hard to read, but this line goes over, and it actually goes up because there's a ditch, and then it comes back down. This is showing that there's a ditch over here. If I back out a little further, you can see the ditch going down through here, and the contour comes across the road, and the crown in the road, and then goes over here. There's a pond over here. I can show you that pond. It's right there. The dam is over here, and the sun is just terrible today, so you just can't see good, but that's a pond down in there. I've already got it built. But then here it's telling me this road has 2.3% slope off to the right, because the blade is leaning to the right. This is the actual slope of my blade at this current time, and I've just got it up in the air. But see, I can lean the blade and change that percent slope. Now, if I drive the dozer to the other side of the road, to the left side of the road, over here more, then this blade will pitch to the left, and there'll be 2.3% slope to the left side of the road. And these grades here are telling me real time what grade or what elevation that my blade corners are on. These are not real elevations, and with what we are on Earth or from sea level, these are just elevations. These are made up elevations that correspond with this specific job. So we're actually not at 943 feet above sea level. We're probably actually a little higher than that here in Ridgeway. Where I live at like 3,200 feet. So, but anyway, these little grade gauges here on the side, they give me they tell me the green is on grade, red means I need to go down, and blue means I need to raise my blade up. And the reason the green is not on zero is actual finished grade. That's what the pavement will be when it's done. This grade here is what I've got it set that I want the gravel to be at this current time. So that's a little bit of an explanation about what's going on with the GPS. And this thing is so nice when you have a crown in the road like this, because it helps you get the crown in there just like they want it, so the water can shed like they want it to. And you know, this was all drawn by an engineer. It wasn't, you know, not drawn by me, but getting it as close to what they want is my goal. So this really helps me. You know, when I can flip this switch right here, and it puts this blade in automatic mode, and it'll automatically follow the contour that they have in the plan, and cut this road right to grade, and have the crown in it, and be just like they designed it. And it takes a lot of the stress off me as an operator of trying to get it right without anything to go by. Typically you'd have to have a surveyor put stakes in ever so many feet up this road, and you have to get out, and you have to use a level, and you have to go from the stake over and measure down to the gravel and see if you're clicking close. And then if you're not close, you get back in, you add or subtract gravel, move the gravel around. And it's just it is a time-consuming process. I mean, it could take, to get this road on grade, it would probably take 2 days, and you'd have to have 2 guys on the ground and one in the dozer. I'd be in the dozer and have two guys, one holding the level, one measuring, and I mean, one guy could do it, but you know, it's a little easier with two guys to try to get the level held just right and then measure down. And you know, so we're saving two guys' labor and stressful headache procedure and putting it right on the grade that they want. It's going to speed us up 100%. But anyway, that's probably all I'm going to do, show you on this video. We got several things going, and we got a tractor supply we got to get started grading on. So we're going to do that get started on that before too long. So, and I got some other projects going on, and we'll see y'all there. Y'all have a good day.